going to be making a recipe from my book today. It is a recipe from Beirut, Lebanon, but it's actually something you can make right at home. A couple of onions, a couple of sort of medium-sized onions, maybe about 4 medium-sized potatoes, eggs, salt, pepper, herbs if you have them. Not entirely necessary if you don't. So let's get started. I usually start by cutting one of the onions in half. The dish is really one of these great Lebanese dishes that relies on caramelized onions for a lot of its flavor. It's something that's really, really practical, and it's something that actually comes from cooking people who live in the country. It's kind of like a classic peasant thing. You may not have access to lots of expensive herbs and spices. You may not have access to lots of meat and lots of expensive ingredients, but you can make something amazing out of just simple caramelized onions, especially if you let them caramelize for a long time. I usually chop them into really, really small pieces, like a maybe 1/4 inch square, maybe even less. And this is how I do it. It is not the way my mother-in-law does it, so she'd be very unhappy to see me defying her instructions. So I'm going to chop about 2 cups of onions, and then I'm going to throw them in the pot over there, and they're going to start caramelizing. I'm going to put a little olive oil. You can also use canola oil or whatever oil you feel like. And that's going to take about half an hour. You want to do it really slowly and just let the onions kind of mellow. Definitely don't want to burn them. And so I'm going to put them in the pot, and while I'm doing that, while I'm kind of keeping an eye on them and sort of monitoring them, making sure they don't burn, then I'm going to be peeling and chopping the potatoes. Well, those are cooking. About 10-15 minutes, maybe 20. I'm going to start chopping potatoes. So now that the potatoes are all soft and kind of melty, and they're starting to smell really good, crack in the eggs. And, you know, in the recipe I say how many to do for a particular amount of potatoes, but really it's up to you. You can put in as many as you want or as little as you want. So that's it. Potatoes, onions, eggs, whatever else you got lying around your house. And this is the result. The full recipe you can find in my book, Day of Honey. And in the book I write about how my mother-in-law taught me to make this dish actually in the middle of a war. But that's another story. You can read about it in the book. But you can make it whenever you feel like it.